This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the West Report. I'm Rob Branyan.
And I'm Mark Heckman. The big story this week is the weather. It has already caused us to miss 2 days of school. Here's TJ Locke with a report on how the weather has affected West and with some tips.
Well, Jack Frost is nipping once again, and Cherry Hill has already been hit by 2 big snowstorms. Snow accumulations have amounted to over 15 inches in some places, and school has already been closed for 2 days. Now, many of you could get seriously hurt by this cold weather unless you take certain precautions. I talked earlier with the nurse about some of these precautions you should take. Always wear layered clothing, and always wear mittens over gloves because it keeps your fingers together. What you want to do is establish a body heat around your body. A hat is a must because you lose most of your body heat through your head. And if you've been out for a long time, look for your fingers or nose tip or ears to turn white, because if they do, that means you have frostbite and go back inside. If you've been out for a long time, when you come in, drink some warm drinks and keep covered, but never rub your hands together and never run them under hot water. Always use lukewarm water. Now, if you get wet, go in immediately. And if you become sleepy, or if your hands become swollen, or they start to hurt, or if you become disoriented, go in immediately because you might have a case of hypothermia. And drivers, put an extra blanket in the car and always have your jacket. You never know what's going to happen. Cold conditions have often stopped kids from reaching their classes on time, as you can see by this young man here, while helping others, as this young man got to class with 4 minutes to spare. To sum it up, what we've learned today is that you must be prepared when you go out in the cold. And make sure you always start by going to class starting on the uphill, because it's real hard to get to class going up the ice. And most important, always dodge the snowballs, because you never want to be hit by one. This has been TJ Locke for the West Report.
January is a busy month for actors and actresses here at West. One of the activities underway is the musical. Last week, Sherry had a chance to interview Mr. Fisher, director of the musical.
Can you please tell me what the musical will be for this year?
Yes, we're doing Can-Can. It's a Cole Porter and A. Burroughs vehicle that was produced in 1953-54. It's set in France in 1893 in Paris.
What made you decide to do this show?
Well, we were looking for a good dance show. We have an excellent choreographer in Susie Zucker, who's done the shows here for the last, 6 years with Mr. Jalora. And we were looking for a good dance vehicle because we have a lot of talented dancers, and she's a talented choreographer. And this is a very, very good dance show.
I understand that you haven't actually directed a show for several years. What made you decide to direct it this year?
Well, my last show was Sweet Charity. I did that about 9 years ago, and I had decided to pursue a writing career along with my teaching career, and it took up a lot of my time. This year, Mr. Jalora went on sabbatical leave, and the school, Mrs. Katz and some of the other people involved in school asked me to come back and take over, and I did. I decided to do it one more year. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Besides, I had done 13 musicals before, and 13 is supposedly an unlucky number, so this will be my 14th.
I understand that the singing auditions were Tuesday and the dancing auditions are today. What will take place for the rest of the week?
I know on Thursday we'll have callbacks. I'm sorry, not callbacks, but reading auditions. And then on Friday we will have callbacks for the people that we feel are best suited for the roles.
When will the show be performed?
The show will be April 15th, 16th, and 17th, and with a matinee on the 17th. And then we'll have Thursday evening, the 21st, 22nd, and the last performance will be April the 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. This has been Sherry Botwin for the West Report.
The One Act Play Festival has been scheduled for the first week in February this year instead of mid-May. Sherry also had a chance to interview Miss McMenamin, the faculty advisor for the festival.
Please tell us what the One Act Play Festival is.
The One Act Play Festival is an opportunity for each of the four classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, to compete against each other in a kind of intramural competition and use their own classes, their own class resources, the people in their classes, and have some fun along the way, learn about theater, and perform a one-act play, which the class totally produces on its own.
Okay, can you please tell us why it's been changed to February instead of May this year?
Well, traditionally, we've had the festival in the spring, in May, but we found that with the compact situation in this year's calendar, with starting back to school so late in September, that May presented a real problem. The musical ends April 23rd, and you really need a block of a minimum of 4 weeks to rehearse the one acts and do them justice. The junior prom was the first weekend, the band trip was the second, the senior prom was the third, Memorial Day was the fourth. It afforded us no time to present the festival.
What is the culmination of the evening?
Well, the festival, the four entries are judged by professional judges. We try to obtain outside judges, people who do not work in the school district. And at the end of the evening, there are approximately 7 awards: Best Play, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Actress, Best Set, and possibly Best Lighting. So the students who win these awards will be presented with trophies from the International Thespian Society.
Why don't you give a plug right to the camera for this exciting event?
Well, we would certainly hope that everyone would come out and join us for an evening of good theater, Friday, February 5th, starting at 7 p.m. The tickets are $3 and may be obtained at the door, and our snow date is Saturday, February 6th.
Thank you, Ms. McMenamin. This has been Shari Botwin for the West Report.
Well, West had a wild week in sports, didn't they, Rob?
Well, that's right. West's varsity boys basketball team suffered 2 heartbreaking losses last week. The first was last Thursday's 72-71 loss to number 1 ranked Camden. West appeared to win when Alex Sturm hit a three-pointer with 2 seconds left, but Camden's Denny Brown fired a perfect length of the court pass to Julius Davis. Davis then sank an off-balance shot for the game-winning basket. It was West's first loss of the season. West has a chance to redeem themselves when they play Camden again February 9th at Camden. On Saturday, West lost their second straight one-point game, this time to Highlands, 68-67. Despite Brian Spell's 36 points, West lost when Highlands scored with 8 seconds left. The varsity girls basketball team had a much better week, routing Camden 75-53 and Highlands 63-36. Beth Lorenzo was the highest scorer in both games, scoring 28 points against Camden and 32 points in the Highland game. In the Highland game, Beth Lorenzo went over the 1,000-point mark for her career. Congratulations, Beth. The West wrestling team improved its record to 3-1 with a 63-12 win over Pennsauken on Saturday. The team recorded 9 pins in the match. Tonight, West has a match at Powerful Paula 6. Saturday, the Lions are back home again against Cherokee. Next week, we'll have highlights of both matches.
Thanks, Rob. This year's first NHS lecture is being held tonight at 7:30 in the library. Guest speaker is newly elected Mayor Susan Bass Levin. On Tuesday, January 19th, West will hold the year's first 8th grade parent orientation at 7:30 in the auditorium. Parents will learn about freshman curriculum and have the opportunity to ask questions. On Wednesday, January 20th at 7:30 p.m., Cable 18 will present its 3rd guidance show, which will cover college admissions. The first part of the program will focus on what a college admissions committee looks for in a student. The second portion will be devoted to call-ins, along with a presentation of 3 student profiles. The audience will have the unique opportunity to rate each student at home and attempt to choose which one would be accepted. Rating sheets can be picked up any day in the guidance office of either school prior to the telecast. Thank you for watching the West Report. Tune in again next week at this time. Good night.
Good night.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of EastCast this January 13th. The previous time we anchored was last year, so we'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a Happy New Year. I'm Jonathan Kellerman, together again with the lovely Valerie Garfield, doing what we do best, bringing you the news of your school. So pull up your favorite chair and enjoy. It's Sunday night and the weather report forecasts snow, 4 to 6 inches of that beautiful white stuff. Then comes the traditional ancient snow dance that we all do in the privacy of our bedroom. And then comes the crucial decision. Do you do homework or watch Family Ties and talk on the phone all night? Usually you will choose the latter. You're in bed by 11, but you wake up every half an hour to look out the window for white flakes. You're up at 6:30 to listen to that strange man rattle off numbers. 551, closed. First you smile, then you're back to sleep for another 6 hours. A day off is great, but let's face it, it does have its setbacks. It's hard to sleep late when your nagging mother wakes you up at 7:30 to shovel the snow, all 7 inches of it. The worst part about missing school is that it seems that the work just piles up, and what was before a lazy paradise is now an overwhelming workload. Don't forget, our 2 snow days have been used up, and others will keep us late in June. So enjoy the snowman making and rowdy snowball fights, because very soon it will melt away to a chilling reality.
Congratulations are in order for Miriam Zabel, a senior at East. She represented our school at East Junior Miss competition and went on to win the county competition as well. Congratulations to Miriam for winning an additional $400 scholarship as second runner-up in the state competition. What would the bleak winter be without the warm melodies of East's winter concert to warm our freezing ears? Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., you can hear the best of East bands in the Winter Band Concert.
The time has come to live out your fantasy. Each year, Student Congress sponsors a lip-sync competition. This one is being held this Friday night in the auditorium at 7:30 p.m. The premise for the lip-sync competition is mouthing the words to the music of an actual song while acting out as that singer. Last year's participants had the audience in stitches with such acts as the Village People, Prince, and Billy Joel. If this is as successful as last year's contest, we are in for a great night. The participants have been hard at work since mid-December. First, there were auditions judged by Student Congress. The 20 acts selected will compete for a prize awarded to the best all-around act at the end of the show. Insight has it that songs such as Legs, Limbo Rock, and Don't You Want Me Baby will be performed. Mr. Steele is the man behind the organization of the evening, and seniors Angie Lee and Stacey Levinson will be the MCs. The cost for admission is only $3, and everyone is encouraged to attend because the proceeds will go to the Student Congress Fund.
The tension mounted and the voices were raised this Sunday afternoon as the Cherry Hill East varsity debate team put their knowledge and skill up against a tough Shawnee school. Varsity team members Mike Furlanetto and Scott Angstreich defeated Shawnee. The affirmative team, made up of Jason Alexander and Larry Zazzo, also did well Sunday against Rancocas High School. Unfortunately, the decision of that debate is under consideration by a panel of judges after finding numerous inconsistencies in the original ruling. But don't worry, it looks favorable for East. And on yet another victorious note, the Cherry Hill East chess team outthought and outmoved Deptford High School Sunday by winning 9.5 to 1.5. Congratulations to the chess team, and keep your eye on that championship trophy. On Tuesday, January 5th, Allison Bell was elected to the New Jersey Association of Student Council's Executive Board at a state meeting of council presidents. Here's Lauren Brandt with an interview with Allison.
Allison, how were you chosen to run for this office, and why did you decide to do it once you were chosen?
Mr. Balchikoff and Mr. Steele asked me if I'd be interested in running for the New Jersey Association of Student Councils. The school was allowed one nominee, and because I wasn't sure what it entailed, I thought that I should go to a meeting first. I went to a meeting in November at Rider College and found out a little about the association and the offices that it entailed. I thought it was really interesting, so I decided to fill out the application and be the school's nominee.
Oh, okay. Now, how did you decide what job you wanted to hold?
I spoke with Pat Curley, who previously held executive board member in charge of state charity, and he did this 2 years ago, and he told me that it was a fulfilling experience for him, so I wrote that down as my first choice, and I had president as my second choice. And then I went to an interview in the beginning of December, and the officers of the association selected me to run for executive board member, which was my first choice.
Well, that's really good. Well, how did you campaign for the office?
I called several presidents across the state of New Jersey, student presidents of middle schools and high schools, and I spoke with them and told them a little about the association and myself. I sent out some flyers, and we had a political campaign January 5th for an hour right before we gave our speeches. And I then gave my speech, and the presidents voted, and I won.
Congratulations. Now, which executive member position do you hold?
I hold state charity, which means that I'm in charge of picking out of hundreds of charities that have sent me applications, narrowing it down to 3 or 4, and representing them in front of the rest of my board, which is 8 other members. And the association selected me to choose state charity, and I found out this past weekend. So the other 2 positions were publishing of the newspaper and regional affairs.
Well, you sound like you have a great job ahead of you for the next year, and I hope that you're really successful. Congratulations from all of us. This has been Lauren Brand for EastCast with Allison Bell.
The Cougars boys basketball team has been playing well. The Cougars beat Washington Township on January 6th. Last Friday's game against Eastern had to be rescheduled due to the snowstorm. Last night, the team played Paul VI away, and we'll have those scores for you next week. This Tuesday, January 19th, come show your support at our next home game against Shawnee, varsity at 7:15, JV at 5:45. At a competition on Saturday, January 9th, 14 members of the East Boys swim team took first place, defeating teams from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Everyone who participated should be congratulated. The 14 outstanding swimmers were Angelo Cardone, Joe Carnell, Brad Clemens, Kevin Coogan, Bill Fulton, Greg Gooch, Eric Maurer, Pat Mead, Matt Meir, Shane Moore, John Shallow, Derek Sang, Perry Wasloff, and Jack Wright. Congratulations again. We are very fortunate, East, to have the expertise of track coach Mr. Robert Sanford. He has just returned from competition in Australia, and Darrell S. talked with him about his success.
This is a man who has trained many professional athletes in running. This is a man whose running abilities brought him an appearance on The Cosby Show. This is a man who recently came home from the Drake International 7th World Veterans Game with 2 silver and 1 bronze medal, applauding his outstanding speed. You can find this man right here at Cherry Hill East. He is Mr. Robert Stanford. First, I would like to congratulate you on your running achievements in Australia. Could you tell me about how many countries participated in the contest and roughly how many total participants there were?
Yes, it was 52 countries competing and 5,000 athletes.
Specifically, which events were you involved in?
The 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, and the 4x1 relay and the 4x4 relay.
Which of those did you receive your recognition for?
Well, mostly the 400 meters and the 100 meters.
How long have you been running, and how did you get started with it?
Well, I've been competing now since 1954 in high school, up till, we'll say I started competing again. I stopped, then I started again 11 years ago, competing around the world professionally.
In Australia, how did your running times compare to your average running times?
Well, in the 400 meters, I ran 51.7 in the semis, which is as fast as I ran 30 years ago.
That's impressive.
And in the 100 meters, I ran 11:24, which is fast I ran 11 years ago. Compare 11:24 today, Cherry Hill East record in 100 meters is 10.9, held by Parham, which is only 0.2 of a second slower I ran than he ran. But, you know, comparing the times, it's 0.2 of a second's difference.
Do you have any future plans for your running career?
Well, the future I have is to keep right on running, to keep myself in shape, to stay young.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come down and talk with us here today. This has been Darrell S. for EastCast.
In other East sports, Michelle Lempa, Chuck Joram, Graham Hill, Mike Perlmutter, Gerald Jerome, Parshu Shah, and Greg Height had the honor of participating in the All-South Jersey Track Coaches Association Invitational Meet this past Sunday at Widener College. Greg Height placed 4th place in the 1,600-meter run in the large school division, scoring all of East's points. Congratulations to Greg. The Cherry Hill East bowling team does not spare their victims as they continue to strike them down as if they were mere pins in a game. Last week against crosstown rivals West, the Cougars wiped out their opponent 13-3.
The boys' varsity team set a new school record for a 3-game series, 2,854 pins.
Next Wednesday, January 20th, Cable 18 will bring you a special live guidance show. Representatives from New College in Florida will be available to examine what colleges look for in applicants and how applicants are selected. Seniors, if you still have applications to submit and interviews to schedule, here is your chance to get some inside information from a college on selection committees. Juniors, plan in advance. Tune in to Cable 18 following the news on January 20th to try your hand at rating applicants. 3 hypothetical applications will be evaluated. You can pick up rating sheets and guidance starting tomorrow. You can follow the applicants through the entire administrative selective process, rate them, and then compare your ratings to those of the college admissions representatives. Plan your strategies for college now with the help of Cable 18's live guidance show next Wednesday.
Good luck to all those seniors waiting to hear from early decision of January 15th. If you haven't done any applications yet, just remember, you're pushing it. Those waiting until April, don't worry. It's only about 2.5 months away. Thank you for watching Cable 18 tonight. Be sure to tune in next week for news about clubs, events, and sports. We'd like to thank our advisor, Ms. Peggy Beck, our cameraman, Mr. Gordon Hampson, and Jeff Kahn, our student cameraman. This has been Valerie Garfield and John Kellerman. Tonight we leave you on the road with Ophelia, who is sleeping off a long day of sledding and fun. Good night, Ophelia.
Hi, this is Leah Del Rosario with the Constitutional Minute. 200 years ago in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 55 delegates from 12 of the 13 states met. The 13th state, Rhode Island, resisted the idea of a central government, and so they did not participate in the convention. The purpose of this meeting was to sign a document which would become known as our United States Constitution. For over 4 months, the 55 men debated and compromised. Their chief purpose was to provide a political framework that would unite the 13 states under one federal government. One of the major compromises was a system of checks and balances among the 3 branches. It gives one branch the power to check up on the other 2 branches. Other goals were to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty for all, and form a more perfect union. This has been Leah Del Rosario with the Constitutional Minute.
Good evening, I'm Heather Pertwee, and this is Carusi News. I know it was difficult turning on that TV to channel E18 and not seeing Carusi News, but here we are back with a full program of information. So just settle back and enjoy. This year you can expect bigger and better things from us. Sorry to say, our big story was blown because of some misfortunes, but you still got us. Right now I'd like to take you to Karen with another Carusi View. Karen?
Hi, I'm here with Mr. Golden, Carusi's Student Activities Director, and also the man who is in charge of this year's Spirit Week. Hello, Mr. Golden.
Karen, good morning.
I understand that it's a little early, but how are you coming along with Spirit Week so far?
I think pretty well at this early date. I've had a few preliminary meetings with the committee, and we're pretty well, I think, on our way at this point.
How do you decide on each year's theme?
I meet with the committee in December, and what we do at that point, committee members bring their suggestions of what we may do different this year to the meeting, and then we basically go around and around and around until we come up with something that we think will be an excellent theme.
Have you made that decision yet?
Yes, we have. This year's theme for Spirit Week will be Carusi Cruises the Caribbean. Thank you, Pointer Person. We will be right here. Our cruise ship will leave Philadelphia and head toward the Caribbean. And on a winter like we've had so far, I think it'll be an excellent theme.
Well, I know that Spirit Week is an annual celebration here at Carusi. Just how long have we had it?
We've had Spirit Week in different forms for about 15 years. About 7 years ago, we decided on a competition between the 7th and 8th grade, and that seems to be the kind of theme that we've locked in on, you know, the format. And everybody seems to like it. The kids really enjoy it, and that's basically why we do it, so we're going to stick with it. Now, each year what we do is we evaluate various aspects of Spirit Week, and we make changes. I would call it kind of like fine-tuning it.
Well, when is Spirit Week this year?
This year, Spirit Week will be the 3rd week in March, and we have it in March because we try to play Spirit Week between the winter sports season and right before the spring sports season, and we usually start our spring sports sometime in March.
Can we expect any new activities for this year's Spirit Week?
I think at this point in time, we're going to eliminate one of the activities we had because it didn't have a lot of student support, and we're going to probably increase Spirit Week by adding 3 new activities during enrichment in the morning.
Well, Mr. Golden, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come down here and meet with me. I wish you and the committee the best of luck on your future plans for this year's Spirit Week, and everyone is sure that you'll do another great job. And now, back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Karen and Mr. Golden. That was really good. Parents, students, and faculty of Carusi Junior School in Cherry Hill can still make it to an enjoyable evening of music at Carusi Winter Concert held in our school gymnasium tonight at 8 o'clock. The program will feature the chorus, pop vocalists led by Mrs. Osborne, the orchestra led by Mrs. Kaninskis, and the Carusi Mustang Band and Stage Band led by Mr. Chichiak. A wide variety of music will be offered, including the Schubert, Trout Song, and popular revival rock and roll hits like La Bamba and Wipeout. Remember, it's at 8 o'clock and you can still make it if you hurry. And without another moment to spare, here's our calendar girl, Aviva Kushner, with the days of January. Aviva?
Thank you, Heather. You're right, we don't have a moment to spare. Look, it's already the 13th. January is half over. But my motto is better late than never. So here I am with the special days of January. The month and the year certainly came in with a big bang this year. Happy 1988, everyone. The 13th, tonight as a matter of fact, is the winter concert here at Carusi. And this Friday is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He was a black activist who fought for civil rights in the 1960s. His birthday is not celebrated until the following Monday, though, and we're off for his birthday to make it a 3-day weekend. Remember, his birthday is Friday, but we don't celebrate it until Monday. Interspersed throughout the month are all the girls' basketball games, boys' basketball games, and wrestling tournaments. There were 7 states admitted to the Union in this month, starting with Georgia in 1788, one of the original 13 states to be admitted to the Union. Then is followed by Alaska, which came as late as 1959, the second to last state to be admitted to the Union. On January the 4th, Utah was admitted in 1896. In the middle of the week, New Mexico in 1912. And then on Saturday, Connecticut in 1788, another state which was a member of the original Union. And then, towards the end of January, Michigan was admitted in 1837. And for our last state of this month of January, we have Kansas in 1861. 2 other big events in this month happened in the second week of January. Starting with Monday the 4th, supposed to be the first day back from vacation, we had a huge snowstorm. Then, to top off the end of the week on Friday, was followed by at least 8 inches of snow, and we were off again. But of course, we had in between 3 wonderful days of school. Well, that's it for January. See you in the month of February. Back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Aviva. Well, this week we finally have a sports report, and here's Scott to tell you all about it. Scott?
Thank you, Heather. Well, finally our Carusi winter sports teams got started and in a blast.
Although our scores aren't too cool, things will heat up very soon. Now let's get to the scores. First, wrestling didn't start yet. The meet that was scheduled for last Friday was canceled on account of no school because of snow. But do not fear, our wrestling team will soon be wrestling into action. Now let's dribble to basketball. Let's start with the boys. On January 6th, Carusi 7th grade Mini Mustangs got off to a rocket start as they dropped their opening game to Delran by a score of 47-8. The next game is on January 15th against Collingswood, but this time they're ready. Our 8th grade Mustangs played their first game on January 6th to Delran, but lost 47-27. Here's a word for the opponents. The team and Mr. Wilkins assures us this won't happen again, so watch out. Now the girls. Our 7th grade girls had a great opening on January 6th to Delran. After trailing 15 points, the girls fell just 4 points short. The final score was they lost 27-31. We see a good future for them. Our 8th grade girls started off on the best hand, winning their first game January 6th, 18-16. Even better, on the 7th, the Lady Mustangs won their second victory against Haddon Heights. They won 25-11. Well, those are the scores. We hope everyone comes out and supports our teams. That's it for now. Please keep watching to see how our teams do. I'm Scott Engel for Mustang Sports. Now back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Scott. And like he said, don't worry, we'll get you next time. Don't forget to watch our show next week. We have a big surprise for you. On behalf of the entire staff at Carusi, I'm Heather Tweet saying good night from Carusi News.
This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.